what's going on everybody? East Tactics here, coming at you with another video. This is an M2C explained video, the next in the series, talking about none other than M2C's Outdrive cups. So if you look closely here, you can see a stock Outdrive cup versus M2C's Outdrive cup. M2C makes their drive cups out of 4140 tool steel, hardened and black anodized. Nobody has really any clue what the metal is made out of from Arrma. So, you know, it's not to say that they're garbage. A metal drivetrain is a metal drivetrain, which is huge in quality. But when companies like M2C come around and they take and they pull in the highest grade metals that they can find, and they incorporate top tier processes in forming and constructing them. Again, this is 4140 steel, specifically tested by M2C to be optimized for strength and hardness. Now, those are just a lot of words, right? But you guys know me. I'm gonna take it a little bit farther and actually show you guys hands-on the quality difference between M2C and your stock Outdrive cup. So there are two really interesting things that I wanna show you in this video that defines the difference between M2C and stock. If you look closely here, you can see I have an M2C version here and I have the stock version here. I've run both of these from brand new to this point, and I'd like to show you guys the difference between the two here. And then afterwards, we're actually going to do a torture test on both of these metals and see which one is truly stronger. So let's get up close and personal and take a close look at what has happened to these. So here we have the stock version, and you'll have to forgive me for the dust and nappiness. Looking close, you can see damage that has occurred around the input points for the dog bones. You see burring of the metal. You can kind of see a definite tone difference in the type of metal that this is made out of. Again, not sure what type of metal this is made out of. You can definitely see what's happened here. So now let's take a close look at M2C. M2C, you can still see the black anodizing it stayed on really well. Actually, the hardening process and the black anodizing is done in a way with M2C that just lends a ton more quality. Nowhere near as much burring has happened with the metals around the edges. You see a little bit more here, but still not much. So it is pretty obvious that M2C's Outdrive cup is much better looking, and you know that it's going to last a heck of a lot longer than this one. Now, knowing with the Arrma vehicles that there are actually 6 of these spread throughout the vehicle, not to mention you also have an Outdrive cup that shoots out from the center of the vehicle through a drive shaft to the center diff. You have a choice now, because M2C's come to the table with upgraded parts, to, instead of buying the stock version of this, you can go ahead and pick up M2C's version made out of the quality metal that they incorporate. So now for the fun part. Here I have a torque wrench that we're going to take to the vise, and we're going to see which metal withstands more torture. First, I'm going to test these two against each other, and then after that I'm going to go in, I'm going to uninstall the two that are in there. These two are more of the tests that I'm curious about, because they've both undergone the same amount of wear and tear, and so I think a neck-to-neck comparison for those two are going to be really where it's at. However, I wanted to go ahead and test these ones as well. This is a brand new one from M2C, and this one is a stock from the manufacturer, Arrma, and it has been used. So let's do it. Okay, so my initial thought for testing this, which you'll come to find out in a few minutes is not actually the best method, and I transitioned to a much better way, was just basically sticking a large socket wrench into the Outdrive and then twisting, and you'll notice that right here for the Arrma, it gets to about 20 pounds of torque per inch and snaps. Evidence here that the Arrma piece is much weaker. You see how it actually broke on the first attempt. So transitioning over to the M2C piece and doing the same thing, I find this very interesting. So on the first attempt, I get it to right around the same amount of torque, about 20 pounds per inch. and then it actually just slips off. So I thought I actually broke it, but it turns out I didn't. So I decided to do it again. So I went ahead and slammed it back into the Outdrive cup and gave it another go. And on this attempt, same thing happens. Gets to about 20 pounds per inch of torque and then slips out. So it's not snapping, which is, you know, pretty impressive for the metal. And I'm like, third time's the charm, right? Okay. So I throw it back in, give it another go, gets to again around that 20 pounds per inch of torque, and slips out again. So at this point I'm thinking to myself, well, the evidence is there, but I'm just not satisfied. So I decided I need a better way to test the torque. I'm gonna design a piece that I could really get in there with a straight line, and I'll show you. Let's see if this works. All right, so something really interesting that I want to note about the M2C drive cups. M2C actually went in, and in the manufacturing process, because they know of a common issue, they actually made this hole right here slightly smaller to get rid of some of that slop, which is another really cool thing, that just attention to detail. M2C has cut their holes to be exactly 2.25, which is gonna be all around less slop, less likely to break these pins. Whereas we know that Arrma actually makes their holes 2.3 and their pins 2.2. This is the slop that you're gonna get from Arrma if you're running their stock parts. 2.3 hole, 2.2. Look at that. This is their fatter, newer, upgraded pin. This is their stock. Whereas with M2C, if you don't order custom pins, at least you've got a 2.25 hole that at least is a little bit less slop. Best of both worlds though is to go with M2C's cups and go with McMaster.com 2.25 rods. And when you, like I said, when you order them, they look like this. And if you watch this video, you can get the web links and everything for where you need to go to do it. And you can cut them yourself with a Dremel, and you know, basically have perfection when you pair this with M2C's cups. I think that's really important to know. All right, let's get this back together. I'm not gonna take out my spiral input gear because this one's fine. Taking a close look at the teeth. Looks good. But I do have a video. If you end up changing out this piece, which is a very common piece to strip when it comes to your gear system, a lot of people, it's kind of more of the elusive one because it's buried behind a wall of grease and people neglect to look closely at it. Arrma, this is one of the pieces that they improved the quality of the metal as well as the hardness. So check out this video to see what the difference is and how to make sure that you do pick up the right spiral input gear. And if you are tearing these things up quickly, then you might be running one of the older ones. All right, so you might have just noticed what I pulled out of the bag. Torque screw, T10. Okay, this combination is what you want to switch to on all of your differentials, because this is a nightmare and this is awesome. I also have other videos that talk about where to use Torx heads in your vehicle. 1, 2, Torx heads all the way around my servo, and a Torx head here and a Torx head here. These two torque heads are the same exact size as your motor mounts. Torque heads are amazing. That's all I gotta say. I'll try to check the description. I'll leave a link to both sizes of those Torx screws. I'll also leave a link to this stuff right here if you wanna use your bearing lubrication, and any other things that I kind of use in my video that you might see or like. I'll try to put it in the top of the description for you guys. Easy access, okay? Now it is time to test the quality of metal on a stock differential. Torture test time. Let's do it. I'm gonna design a piece that I could really get in there with a straight line, and I'll show you. Let's see if this works. I'm trying to drill through steel. I'm not even 100% sure it's doable. There we go. Okay, part 1. There's our new test piece. So now I can pop that on. And that's what we're gonna do to test it. Now we have Arrma manufacturer differential Outdrive cup. All right, so the Arrma one actually snaps. You can actually see the discoloration in the metal. Now I'm going to toss in M2C. All right. Let's see what M2Cs can do. All right, well, M2C wouldn't break. It ended up popping out of the vise. So let's see if we can get it in there a little bit better. I'm having to crank this thing down like there's no tomorrow. Let's try this again. All right, well, I think that says it, because that's twice now I've tried to break the M2C drive cup and it's popped out of the vise. See how it's popping here and here, and this just won't break. Whereas when you look at Arrma's, it snapped. Let's see how far the torque went. M2C Outdrive cup test 1. The rod rod broke. Let's try again. Take 2. Here we go. Hopefully the rod holds. Oy vey. I need a stronger rod. Here we go. And here we go. Okay, so it popped out of the vise. So because both times the M2C out cup ripped out of my vise, I'm noticing that the edge of my vise is starting to get damaged here. So I'm gonna actually switch the teeth around on this, and that I think will help us reach the potential of M2C. So this should remedy that. So that it is tight. All right. Better not pop out this time. Okay, take 3. Stay in the vise. Hopefully it breaks. Here we go. Finally. All right. So we were able to finally achieve the same effect with the M2C. Here we go. Here we go. I've got to say, I am blown away by the sheer strength of the M2C Outdrive cups. They are insanely stronger. So pick those up. If you break the stock version, pick up the M2C ones. They're going to last a ton longer. And it just goes to show the quality of metal, not just in the Outdrive cups, but in anything that M2C makes. You're going to see that level of quality or difference between that and stock and that and just, you know, the competition. So anyway, guys, I really appreciate you watching my videos. I want to say thank you to those that have supported my channel through Patreon and other means. And I will see you guys in the next video. East Tactics, out.